But welcome to SandCity Sports. How's everybody doing out there? Hope folks are having a good Thursday evening. Almost lost track of the days. Hold on. Let's get our socials in order here. I'll write that down. Okay, refresh. Excellent. Facebook is good. IG is coming around. X. Let's take it home. Come on. YouTube, Twitch, and we live and we ready to go. Welcome to SandCity Sports, to the business. How? Yes. How folks doing on this Thursday evening? We're live. We're coming at you from the studios on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And yes, even though we are coming down after the Super Bowl, the pinnacle of sports in American life, still very much to get into. Have the All-Star game on the horizon. Certain people participating, certain people not participating. The action that's going on in the NBA. Good game tonight between the Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. I've been impressed with the Houston Rockets. Golden State after making a move, bringing in Jimmy Butler. So we will go around the NBA. Some early, right? There's like a breath that you have to take after the Super Bowl ends, to say, not going to have football. But, after you take that one quick breath, not only do we have football in the spring, which I think is awesome. It's not semi-pro, it's just a professional league that runs in the spring, the USSFL. Get that acronym right. I remember back when the XFL, the wrestling, got into professional football and were ready to make a big move. And I thought it would be successful. And then, of course, what happened? The pandemic happened. Okay, and that that concept was scrapped. But spring football, kind of like a minor leagues to the NFL. But then, of course, we start talking about the NFL draft, and then what am I talking about? I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers not returning to Green Bay. So a capable quarterback, an older quarterback, is out there on the free market. And how's that going to proceed? I don't have my setup correct. I don't have my setup. Hold on. Let me get my setup correct. I don't have. Hold on. You can't see my Knicks gear. My setup is not right. You know what I mean? Because we do the lower lumbar, right? Show the people. Got this from LeBron. You know what I mean? We do the make sure the back support is right. Get that all in order. Don't have back problems. Don't want to have back problems. But let me get my setup correct. But again, and in New England, I hear it's going to be 50 degrees outside tomorrow. Right? Weather goes from brick cold one part of the week to 50 degrees. All the snow melts another part of the week. I was talking to, my good buddy Endicott today on the drive home, open roads, talking to my good buddy Endicott. And we play cards, we play rummy. He hands out beatings, you know what I mean? Beatings. I'm not ashamed to say in the slightest. I got to step my card game up. Shout out to Rounders, by the way. Anybody in these movies that's in limbo, the young people, don't cheat yourself. Treat yourself. Go out and see Rounders. I believe it's PG-13. Matty Damon, the pride of Boston, Massachusetts. That's one of his. I want to say it's just a classic, particularly with the rise of cards and gaming and all that stuff. Even though I don't, not great at cards, can't read people, can't math and science not my strong suit in terms of subjects. But yes, buddy Endicott driving back. We was talking and said, okay, yeah, weekend is coming up. Basketball season it's been a beautiful thing. The refereeing, busy. The Friday night lights. I know Friday night lights is football, but I bring that over to the basketball tradition. But that's winding down. So I said, gonna have a little bit of time. I'll get over. This weekend we'll play some cards. I work on my rummy game, try to improve little by little. Endicott's like, we're supposed to be like 1.5 feet of snow in New England. So how's it gonna be 50 degrees tomorrow on Friday? You don't got to start you should start your car in the winter, but your car going to be warm, warm up sooner because it's not brick cold. But then on the weekend going into next week, supposed to get, foots of snow. So we just have to prepare for that. But hope everyone out there is doing all right as we move through. So everything is good across the board. Um, and so we're going to get right into it. I'm intrigued, right, going into the All-Star game. And we'll talk about the new format. We'll talk about the people, right? Everyone's crying me a river because I didn't make the All-Star game. And then, of course, with the injuries and people sitting out, those individuals are able to make the All-Star game. I think the NBA gets that right. And the whole crying me a river, and I deserve to be an All-Star. Well, win games. We've discussed that. I had no time for it. Don't talk to me, about woulda, coulda, shoulda, might have. Win some games. Right? NBA set that standard. Winners playing the All-Star game, and they should. Okay, not stat packers, stat patters, so on and forth. Winners. Okay, your numbers are off the charts, but you have 5 wins. You can stay home. You can Cancun on 3. You don't need to be in the All-Star game. Okay, so let's just right. Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers. The standard is the standard. Okay, and like they say, the measure you apply to others, that's what's got to be applied to yourself, right? So when I get adamant about certain things, and this is one of them, the Hall of Fame is another. It's not the Hall of Good, it's not the Hall of Friends, it's the Hall of Fame. Baseball gets it right. The NFL next is getting it right. Talked about Shannon Sharpe, may get to Shannon Sharpe on the tail end, because there's a lot to say there. Really, first of all, for Shannon getting into the Hall, and we're going to come back to this. I talked about it before, but then just the NFL class in general, I'm seeing, right? Not pretty good, nostalgia tour, put him into the Hall of Fame, but I'm seeing some folks, that, just lit it up for a number of years, and you're like, yeah, that dude, that's a Hall of Famer. Right now, everybody cannot be like all time great. Not everybody's going to be a Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Deion Sanders, Lawrence Taylor type of a player. Okay, so if it was only those players, then we just wouldn't have anybody in the Hall of Fame, right? If we only selected those people that are literally on Mount Olympus in their professional sports, then we would just have years without inducting anybody, right? Because, to be generational means you only come around once in a while. Right? But what does this have to do? Right? We're coming into the All-Star game. Talked about my buddy Endicott. Talked about the snow that's coming this weekend and how we have to navigate. My buddy Endicott, by the way, he was a fisherman for many years in northern Maine. We'll see if I can get you, now that I bring that point up, I'm going to have to get you a picture of Endicott on the screen because I keep bringing him up. So he's going to have to be on the screen now that I've said that and said that and said that again. But we're going to start All-Star game, new format, but that's not, you know what I mean? Caitlin Clark saying, I don't want anything to do, or I'm not interested in this, in being in a 3-point contest, being in a 3-point showdown with Chef Curry is interesting and intriguing to me. We're going to get that for you on the screen as I continue to kind of talk about this, and for me, why not take the free money? Caitlin Clark. Okay, why not, utilize that opportunity? What do you do? You show up, it's all these event parties with sponsors, and that's what you're really doing. You show up, shoot a couple threes, a couple high fives, and that's it. I don't understand why it became, or why, it's like I want to support the women's game, and I get all of that. Okay, but let's get this for you on the screen, man. Let's get this for you on the screen, and let's be clear. Cape Cod Kid, I don't tell anybody how to live and manage their life. Okay, your boy is trying to do this to do that for my life. I don't speak to other people on how they need to do what they. Okay, but okay, so let's, right. Sharing is caring. All right, so Caitlin Clark said, this, I don't, I'm not down. Okay, now, case in point, do individuals have the right to decide how they allocate their labor power. What the heck are we doing over here? All right, you're trying to sell me? No, thanks. No need to report it. I'm focused on. We're focused on the All-Star game over here. Let's come back. All right. So yes, you are. That's something I think about. Okay, not just I am the captain. I had one of those moments last weekend when I was stuck on Nantucket. Don't know if I told the people. I had to have mentioned it. You know, the game went into double overtime. It was a great game, thrilling. Crowd was into it. But I mean, you're on Nantucket. You're on an island. All right, so you have to be where you have to be. And we missed the 120 boat. So I'm thinking, okay, we waited an hour, maybe another hour. Next boat was 4:30. So and spending 3 hours over on the island, of all the things you can stress about, that I had to, even though you do lose 3 hours, but it wasn't that huge of a deal. Okay, made it back and got things going. All right. So speaking of labor power, right? I don't tell, right? That's my vocation, secondary job, doing refereeing, love it, so on and forth. Primary job, working in education. But specific to Caitlin Clark, you don't want to utilize, and then you're gonna do what okay, it's your talent, so on and forth. But when you are the it girl, when you are the it guy, i.e. Chef Curry, i.e. LeBron James, i.e. Tom Brady, where people show up for you. Your following comes out in mass to shut these venues down. You have that type of respect, that type of consumer confidence, that type of Q rating. It's to that extent that I'm perplexed, given the WNBA is a growing league and always has been a growing league. Right, started in '97. We're in 2025. So what? Going on 30 years now. WNBA is an upstart league. It's always looking to engage, attract, maintain new viewers. So that's where this decision, again, you can do what you want to do with your talents. But in the aggregate, as they say, overall, I don't know why you wouldn't take the free money, the free exposure, the free bump, in your market value as a player for Caitlin Clark and then as a league. Okay. And it is right. You do have a greater responsibility. Yes, I said it. It wasn't thought of in that capacity. Let's use a correlation. It's not a one-to-one correlation, but it is a connection that I think resonates. When Michael Jordan come into the league in the 1980s, never mind how the league was. Okay. I saw, quick aside, some of the players from Last Chance U have an issue and they're taking legal action, like Last Chance U. It's clear that a number of those affiliated with The Last Dance, those Bulls players, took certain issues with the project, and it's clearly, Michael Jordan's project. Excuse me. So it's not like everybody else had creative input into the goings on. All right. But, you saw, the behind the scenes, and people don't agree with one another. People don't like each other. And there's all these type of things that go on. But the fact of the matter is, folks, we wouldn't have no Last Chance, everybody tuning in during the pandemic. NBA, one of the most profitable sports leagues on the face of the planet. Obviously, no one's touching football, but the NBA is right there. Stars are at the top of the celebrity pyramid. We wouldn't have all of this if not for Michael Jordan in the 80s. If not for Michael Jordan in the 80s. Okay? So we're going to stop sharing that screen because we have to make the connection. we have to make the connection. Okay, in terms of how we got there, how we got where we are in terms of the NBA and what it is. Yes. Let's understand, folks, how we got to where we got to. Okay, let's go ahead back. We're going to do some sharing because sharing is caring. Appreciate all those that's out there. We're coming to you live, SandCity Sports on a Thursday. Moving ever so swiftly into Friday. Okay. SandCity Sports, and we're going to turn the, well, maybe we get some volume. Can you hear? Let's see if we can get some volume on this.
On September 15th, Nike created a revolutionary new basketball shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game. Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them. Air Jordans from Nike.
Okay. I played that, but I didn't share that. What the heck? What screen is sharing? This is ridiculous. Who the heck is this guy? Thought we were sharing what? I come back here. I have to run. All right, thank you. Goodness gracious. We'll see. I don't know, man. They say, okay, you got to go here, then you got to go there. All right. We got this wrong the first time. Right? Folks, this is the beginnings of the modern
On
NBA
September
right
15th,
here.
Nike created a revolutionary new
create a
basketball
revolutionary
shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game.
They did.
Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them. Air Jordans from Nike.
Huh? And the rest is history. The genesis of the NBA that you and I know. Never mind why people still, lines around the corner to buy Nikes today. Okay, but that launched Air Jordan, and he hasn't come back down to earth. And that interest and that excitement and that enthusiasm surrounding the game of basketball is what allowed David Stern to make many corrections and clean up many areas that were run amok and a mess, and build the NBA from the tape-delayed league with wildness and fighting and instability of across in a number of varieties. Shout out to Michael Ray Richardson. Shout out to this ship be sinking. Right? All of that, we don't yawn on SandCity Sports. Okay, it is what was necessary for the NBA to turn the corner. So all the way back to Caitlin Clark, that's the type. Now, is it of that variety specifically? Is Caitlin Clark not participating in a 3-point shooting contest the equivalent of the greatest ad campaign, arguably, in NBA or shoe history? Was it a 1-to-1? No, it's not a 1-to-1. Okay, but the theory behind it is the same, right? Caitlin Clark being who she is in the WNBA and frankly in the world of sports, not bringing her labor power and her following to the All-Star game to take this free money. Right? It's a big step backwards. All right. And it's a little bit confusing to me. Get that for you back on the screen. They're not even going to have the 3-point shooting contest with Curry and Sabrina Ionescu. They're probably going to say, listen, we had a hit. We don't want to oversaturate ourselves. What they're saying, not going to oversaturate ourselves. It's great. We can't top that, so we're just going to take a step back. Okay, and there's wisdom in that. Turn the phone off, speaking, getting these calls and texts and everything else. We'll see how it goes, right? You say, okay, you need to be here, you need to be there, you need to be all over the place. It is what it is. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. All right? But come on now. Again, when you have the opportunity to get free money, go ahead and take it. All right? Plenty of time for the vacations, plenty of time. Now, I know professional athletes, but you understand the WNBA, it's the off season. Okay, so you have time. Now, granted, I don't know if Caitlin Clark is over in Europe. I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe she plays in Europe, but she might. So that may be the rationale for why this doesn't work. But, by the same connection, Sabrina Ionescu could also be playing professionally in Europe, but still makes the time to come back to participate in this conversation, have a great competition, okay, and again, build her brand and build WNBA's brand. Whether she's playing in Russia, playing in Turkey, playing in the Middle East, wherever she's playing, the time is made. To cozy up to the Golden Goose. All right, Caitlin Clark, I'm not. All right, you don't want to do it. I get it. But there's an opportunity that's being left out there. All right, folks, staying in the world of basketball, I'm here. I just got finished watching the tail end of the Miami Heat Dallas Mavericks game. Jason Kidd doing a press conference. There's somebody that's been throwing a curveball. What did Jason Kidd do to deserve this? All right, and so what I'm getting at is, SandCity just happened to be jumping on with you when the Luka Doncic trade broke, middle of the night. That happened to be when, we had the time. I had the time okay, let's Google Mavericks fans angry. Let's just get this, it's tough. No, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. And this is bad production. I need a picture. I get some imagery. That's what I was looking for. Okay. And if people can't see what I can see, so bad production once again. Pull this down. No, okay, I'm going to have to go with the other. You guys get what I'm, okay. No, you don't get it because you're just listening to me, looking at me wander around. Poor production. Poor all around. All right. So you can see the common theme as relates to, the sentiment and the morale in Dallas right now. All right. You can see over here, Luka is the future. Nico, Dallas Mavericks general manager. There's no love lost. There's no love lost in Big D. And again, going back to, my original thoughts, not that I'm prescient, and some sort of ability to forecast and foretell. But when it happened, first thing in my mind is Mark Cuban is not the managing owner. Mark Cuban does not have his hands on the strings. okay, for the Dallas Mavericks. And so he's not the one that oversaw and essentially signed off on the deal, right? Because general manager does not have, right? Black Rob said, what, you're fronting like you had the manpower coming through in it within a half an hour. Okay, shout out to Black Rob. Shout out to, all right, again, I'm dating myself on that, but I don't mind. You know what I mean? If it got to be whoa. Okay, and this deal is whoa. As in, whoa, what are you thinking? What are you doing? Is the original reaction, and that has maintained itself in the successive days. And so kind of now you're seeing the shock and befuddlement has ended, and the folks in Dallas are just simply furious. And I'm not jumping on that bandwagon, but right? How do you know, the deal just makes no sense on the surface. You know, all this, you know, undercover and maybe this guy, you know, and injured. No. Assuming, right, Luka's healthy, Anthony Davis is healthy. They both miss games. But, you know, we're not going to do any lemon law stuff here. There's not any underhandedness. You're trading Luka Doncic as is, 25, going on 26. Anthony Davis, I believe he's 31. Okay, been more healthy, less street clothes in recent years. You're just trading them straight up. Right? Now we hear the conversation about, well, you know, they asked Minnesota about a trade for Anthony Edwards, which makes more sense. They asked Milwaukee about a trade for Giannis, which makes more sense. Both of those teams said no. Right? We have good things going. Why are we, particularly the Milwaukee Bucks, who started the season with trade demands and now quietly, you know, put themselves in the race right near my New York Knicks. All right. You know, those, you know, you're not having this if you trade Luka for Anthony Edwards or if you trade Luka for Giannis. Okay, but when those deals fell through, as is, you know, it makes no sense for them. They're trending in the right direction. Are they championship level teams? In my view, no. But they're trending, specifically the Milwaukee Bucks, more and more in the right direction. Minnesota adjusting from the cat trade, you know, but getting used to playing with Julius, and, you know, they're trending in the right direction. So we're not blowing that up, and we're not giving up our young generational stars for your young generational stars, specifically when Anthony Edwards and Giannis Antetokounmpo are like fitness, you know, freaks, workout warriors, and that's not clearly Luka's strong suit. So it doesn't make sense on that, in that line of thinking. All right, but you know, you took a deal that just, you did not get equal value. You, in my view, got lesser value. You know, and you did this deal with a competitor, a rival, to win your conference. So again, there is a chance that Nico has information that nobody else has or could imagine, but on the surface of it, this deal is preposterous. Okay, and again, as I said, as the dust is now settling, people's shock, you know, is now fury, which has got to be kept, you know, to a certain level. He's kept to a certain level. But people are outraged. Okay, folks, I told you I got a chance to see them, Houston Rockets. Okay, didn't get the dub against Golden State. Shout out to Golden State. Okay, with now Jimmy Butler. Let's go ahead and share this screen. Folks, probably going to do been a half an hour. Probably going to go somewhere in the 40-45-minute range on this episode. Glad to be with you doing the Passion Project. A little more NBA. We'll talk NFL. Aaron Rodgers and his situation. Excuse me. So look, go ahead, Minnesota. 6 games over 500 in the 7th seed. 2 games back of the Clippers to be out of the play-in, but they're in the mix. Game ahead of the Dallas Mavericks, who decided to blow it up. Sacramento Kings have been winning since their trade. Or since Mike Brown, rode off to collect checks and study basketball. All right, but again, Houston Rockets, okay, we're going to be battling for that 2-3-4 spot. Just impressed. Young, defend well, score efficiently, and you just see, M.A. stalking the sidelines. He coaches from a place of, anger and force, if you will. And the thing that come up to me about the Houston Rockets, Reed Shepherd is a player. Reed Shepherd's going to be a player in this league, and they are bringing him along at the correct pace. He spent some time in the G League. He's on the roster now. He comes in off the bench, and Reed Shepherd is a part of, is one of their stars of the future. And right now, he is in a reserve role. They are winning consistently, folks. We're the top 3 pick, who's in my opinion, is bona fide, waiting in the wings. All right, so in this Western Conference where it's OKC against the field, Memphis and Houston had a good battle a couple weeks back. I believe the game was settled in regulation rather than going to overtime, but it was a good back and forth contest. But yes, this. Can I put them above Denver? Can I put them above Memphis? Hey, in a 7-game series, who knows what the case is going to be? But let's see what's going on. Okay, we're good. But shout out to the Houston Rockets, and that's a team, right? That's hungry. That's going to be up and into the mix. Eastern Conference, the Celtics put a beating on my New York Knicks. Still only 2 games ahead of them. 5 games ahead of the Pacers. Boston 7 games ahead. Knicks 5 games ahead. So the top 3 teams and the Pacers have usurped the Bucks in the East, are kind of distancing themselves from the pack. Good to see. My Knicks have a lot of work to go. Have a ways to go. Frankly, Knicks have a ways to go. But they're right there in the pack. Holding serve for that 2 spot. Folks, we're going to hold off on the NFL for now. Just stay and we'll conclude with the NBA. Shorter episode, but that's okay. An episode nonetheless. Had to come in, had to say a few things in relation to what's going on in the world of life. The world of sports. And then you kind of connect that into, the day-to-day life and, my individual expressions. And that's how you put something together. So again, Caitlin Clark, you have the right to do you. But in doing so, a disservice was done, in my view, to the WNBA and also NBA. Luka and this deal that will go down in history, or as I might say, in infamy. Folks in Dallas fuming, and probably rightfully so. Okay, and then around the NBA, specifically tonight, the young upstart Houston Rockets looked good, took the L Is this to say that now with Jimmy Butler in the mix, Golden State Warriors are going to turn it around, all right, and get themselves out of the play into the playoffs proper, with the chance to make some noise? Well, we don't know, but that was a good win tonight against the Houston Rockets. So maybe playoff Jimmy is getting his start a little earlier than otherwise. Okay. So folks, shorter episode, but an episode nonetheless. I'm your host, the Cape Cod Kid, artist formerly known as Andre King. Thank you so much for tuning in to SandCity Sports. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Certainly interested. Always looking to improve. Lots of improvements to make and about that process. Okay, so thank you for rocking with us, and we will see you the next time. Peace.